Lunch, I was saying, the crisis that we're in as a planetary society is a culture of consciousness. There ain't enough of it. That's what happens when women are raped in Bosnia. That's a failure of consciousness. That's what happens when rivers are polluted with DDT. It's a failure of consciousness, a failure to correctly appreciate cause and effect.
Our strategy, political strategy, is this. We feel that America is suffering now from some sort of malarial fever of the brain that's making everybody superstitious and angry and paranoid. Now, don't be upset. We think we can bring the fever down. If we can raise the IQ, the intelligence level, the creativity level, the independent thinking level of America by 1%, or if we can get 10% of the American people to start thinking more clearly, we can lower this feverish, superstitious, fearful atmosphere and get America back where we should be.
There's too many fucking people in the world. Someone needs to say that, by the way. Tired of this, hey, aren't we the coolest? Humans are so neat. Too many of you. Let's work out this food-air deal. But I'll tell you this, where this idea that childbirth is a miracle came from, I missed that fucking meeting, okay? You want to know what a miracle is? Raising a kid who doesn't talk in a movie theater, okay? There's a goddamn miracle. It's not a miracle if every 9 months any yin-yang in the world can drop a litter of these mewling cabbages on our planet. And just in case you haven't seen the single mom statistics lately, the miracle is spreading like wildfire.
Cheap, extractable natural resources. This is now impossible. There is no cheap labor, and the cost of continued extraction of natural resources is the death of the planet. What we have to do is back away from our obsession with things. We can no longer define our worth through attachment to things. We have to create a psychology that reinforces inner worth. The other thing that we have to do is take responsibility for our population. And people are fond of just throwing up their hands and saying that the social momentum, the momentum toward world catastrophe is so great that nothing can be conceived of short would lead to any kind of sane and rational world. But have you noticed that if every woman were to bear only one natural child, the population of the earth would fall by 50% in about 40 years without war, epidemic disease, or forced migration. Now, this is interesting. I don't advocate it. I simply think it's interesting that such a simple solution would have such an enormous impact on problems generally thought to be intractable.
It's clearly a crisis of two things, of consciousness and of conditioning. These are the two things that the psychedelics attack. We have the technological power, the engineering skills to save our planet, to cure disease, to feed the hungry, to end war, but we lack the intellectual vision. We are on an absolutely destructive bender that will end with the death of the earth, the impoverishment of its animal and plant population, and the collapse of our civilization into scarcity unless we can somehow restructure our psychology. And if there is anything which increases our consciousness, I don't care if it's a religion, a food, a drug, a sexual product, a magazine. If there is anything which increases our consciousness, we should find out what it is and get with it.